despots. We call them tyrannical leaders, psychopathic leaders, rogue kings, stuff like that is in the history when they get that energy and haven't conquered that lower nature.
And
so
what is
we still talking nine ether. We just using it in different schools of thought. In Egypt, Sekhmet, and India is Shakti, right? And the Shakti is activated by the Kriya, which is the fire of the root chakra, right? And it carries all the way up to the crown. Okay, so they say in the Kabbalah is from Malkuth to Kephra. In the Kabbalah, the same energy is called the Ein Sof.
Right, I know about that. I studied the Kabbalah extensively.
Right,
and
so it's the same energy.
Okay, so let's go here with it. In the Holy Tablets, the Master Teacher taught us that non-ether was conscious awareness and conscious moral judgment gases. Can you explain the differences, how that's actually perceived? Yeah.
So as you purify your ego to receive your higher consciousness, right? You got to remember, pure chaos is melanin. Melanin is sentient on its own. It don't need nobody to be sentient. But being utilized along with the other systems of the body, then the non-ether has to be the one who can tame the chaos and bring the balance. The balance is where you find the righteous.
Okay.
Right? The righteousness is a side effect of purifying the lower ego and receiving that higher Shakti non-ether energy.
So basically, are you saying that non-ether would be a higher form of intelligence that allows us to be able to discipline ourselves in the spiritual realm and the physical realm to be able to be in harmony with both sides?
Well, I would more look at it like once you gain the discipline, you gain access to use non-ether energy in real time. Lacking the discipline and the self-control, then you just a Sakomao monkey band, bouncing around, never knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the discipline gives you access to the non-ether. Now you finna make a connection with source energy. When you make this connection, you have to already have the self-discipline to activate what's already in you. So now the side effect of that is once you can reason to the level to activate the non-ether, now the melanin chaos comes in, because you won't be able to balance the chaos if you don't have the discipline to receive the non-ether. And the chaos is melanin. When it come in, it's going to automatically send you on an immediate downward spiral to your lowest base nature to return and rise back up as the phoenix.
Why is that?
Because it's chaos. When it first hit, it's like a bomb. And when it hit internally, you don't know what's going on immediately, but your higher self is using the discipline you develop to reorganize what the chaos is doing, because you're using the source, you're using the prime creator to balance out total insanity.
Okay, so why is melanin based in chaos? Can you give us the science of that?
It's not based in chaos. It's the prime creative substances in which the order came from. When we talking about melanin, we talking about, in Egyptology, it's the primordial noon, right? It's the waters of creation, and the waters are running amok until you can harness them waters' energy. Water symbolic of spirit.
Right, because I remember when Pops was teaching us about noon and basically undifferentiated matter, he was explaining how this is a state of nothingness, basically a state of existence before things actually combined and aggregated and came together to form what we see now today in the physical realm.
Yep. So it's like if you pour a soda pop in the glass, it's going to fizz. It's not fizzing because it couldn't fizz in the bottle. It's only fizzing because you just poured it into a cup and disturbed it.
Right.
This is what the melanin is doing. So now, as you learn to control pouring the soda in the cup in order to reduce the amount of fizz so that you don't overflow the cup, This is how you your higher self is organizing the chaos energy, and it uses your self-discipline to do it.
Now, when you look in like Google or different scientific books of ancient Greek mythology, they attempted to teach us that chaos was a Greek god that represented the universe when it wasn't unformed. Or, excuse me, when it was unformed, when it was undifferentiated matter. How would you go about explaining that to the grassroots?
So the Greek sciences comes from the Egyptian knowledge. The metaphors that they're using in the Greek is actually a science. So when they're talking about chaos, they literally talking about the primordial noon. So imagine all good and bad things existing in a state of non-existence, bumping into each other, and there's no form of expression, and it's just random and erratic.
Right.
In order to have creation, you have to bring that under control of order. And this is why they say out of darkness comes the light. Light is created. If you remember in the Holy Tabs, Potts talks about the dot forming a line.
That's in chapter 1, tablet 1.
Yeah.
And the line formed the wall formed the square, and so on and so forth.
He's telling you how light is created from the primordial noon in order for it to manifest visible spectrum so you can see it.
So was that this is for the people, was that a literal line, a literal wall, or what does it represent metaphorically?
Metaphorically, there's no terms in the languages that we know on the earth to explain it. And the closest thing that he can give you to explain it is the dot forming the line. Because you can use the 2D written expression to relay a 19-dimensional framework in a simplified form, but it's going to take years for the mind to unlock it.
Okay, and that's now that you say that, another question that came up in the conversation with a couple of the sisters that's in our class. You mentioned the 5D. So let's say 3D, 4D, 5D. I want you to kind of sort of in simplistic terms explain what is a dimension, and then from there, what is a third dimension, fourth dimension, and fifth dimension?
Okay, so now what we're looking at when we're talking about the dimensions is levels of frequency and how the frequency is expressed so that the mind can perceive what the frequency is telling it. So when we talk two-dimensional, we talk about that thing which is written on a flat surface. That's the 2D. When we talk three-dimensionally, we're talking about a fixed position reality that have three forms of existence: solid, liquid, and gas. When we get to the fourth dimension, this is the plane of force. This is the field of mind. And by the way, that's the dream realm, the fourth dimension.
That's in the tablets 2, chapter 7, the living soul. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, oh man, you're right on it. So the dream realm is where we create the lower realms, 3D, 2D, like that. The dimensions is described in 3D as like different light rays. Like the light take on the spectrum and we can only see a small portion of it.
Right.
So the portion that's above our perception would be higher dimension, and those which is lower from lower perception is what we would call lower dimensions. The 3D is where all of the upper dimensions is expressed in the physical realm. This is the best way to describe 3D is 3D fixed position reality, having a God particle as a stabilizing link. So when they discovered the Higgs boson in 2012, that was discovering the wall that the line created. Because it's all condensed light rays. Everything that we think we see as a physical object on a molecular level is nothing that we think it is.
Right. That's why they say the physical world is an illusion.
Yeah. So when you study epigenetics, you realize that wherever we are in truth, we not really here. We projected here in consciousness. So the easiest way to explain our collective unconscious where we all linked is like a big bag of water, and you dropped it on a pin cushion. Every little stream of water that comes out of that is one of us, but the source bag is Prime Creator.
Got you. So go ahead.
We call it a mastermind, like Napoleon Hill Mastermind Group. And the Law of Success explains it perfect, where it can be used. So the whole world of thinking people forms a egregore, which is a thought form. The egregore then takes on its own life separate from those who created it. The whole trick of the secret society is learning to take control of the egregore of humanity, which goes back to the 100 monkey effect.
Nothing but an illusion. You only had two presidents out of 46 that tried to like make some form of a significant change, and they were assassinated. So 44 out of 46 presidents, basically did everything that their puppet masters ordered them to do. And there's been no president to change the economic status or the fact that we're looked at as fourth and fifth class citizens in this country. There's been no presidential candidate to change that dynamic. And I don't believe that there ever will be.
Mm-hmm. That's something the president can't change anyway. He can't do nothing to make people treat people any kind of way. You don't have that jurisdictional authority. Right. But the whole political stage show is a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason it's there is so that you don't know that we being dictated to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They attribute the writing of the bills to this senator or that congressman. They ain't wrote jack. They didn't write nothing. Somebody gave it to them and said, "This is your agenda." That's part of the process of being over there. If you realize that it's a political satire and stop participating in it. But as far as them trying to disrupt the energy, they don't schedule it because Brother Rich scheduled the show. They schedule it based off time, day, and stellar alignment. Because that's how they determine how to interrupt the energy. By time, day, and stellar alignment. And if they can control when the energy is disrupted, they can control the outcome of putting the energy back in order.
Indeed. Fire. Somebody is a little upset in the chat, and they keep writing, name one female. Well, I don't know if they're upset, but they keep writing, name one female in the Galactic Council. So go ahead, y'all. What's going on? Any females in the Galactic Council? Because
the Lyrans have a council of female advisors to the Galactic Council, and a representative that sits on the Galactic Council that's female. The Arcturians have two people sitting on the council, one male, one female. I'm not going to go through the whole Galactic Council, but there's plenty of women on the Galactic Council.
Okay. All right.
According to the Dogon, the center of the galaxy is female.
Yeah, Big Mama controlling everything anyway, so.
And we call her Power, and that's why she's on the 13th Zodiac seat, dead center, in the Temple of GINDJAB.
All right, let's get to another question. Hopefully this person isn't as mad. Are the entities that are pulling up to assist humanity new breeds of humans?
I would call them ancient breeds.
Say that again. Say that again.
I said I would call them ancient breeds.
Okay.
Them bloodlines are not what we have become on Earth now.
Okay.
Remember, they were genetically separated for a long period of time. And what happens, you develop from a lion and a tiger from the same source.
Right.
Fundamentally different cats, but they're compatible with each other sexually.
Okay. Okay.
Well, some of the entities, the new breeds, I think I touched on it before when I said that a lot of the zeta reticular grays, a lot of them, they don't have reproductive organs, so they got to house the bodies of NPCs or people who are operating from a low vibrational state in order to carry out an agenda with the Majestic 12.
Mm.
So that kind of like correlates to everything as far as like breeding a different entities for the next timeline.
Yeah. That's what they were abducting those women and putting fetuses in them to replicate themselves because they can't reproduce on their own.
Facts.
Yep.
Indeed, indeed. All right, all right. Let's get to another.
Those CASHAPPs is wrong.
It's wrong.
If
King,
you write them like they wrote there, you're going to get some different people.
that's not your Cash App, Rod?
Only 2 capital letters, the S and the A.
Well, I think it'll still work even if it ain't Cash.
It'll work.
Yeah, it'll still work, right?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, it should still work, Rod. I'll check on my joint. Let me see. Yeah, Rod, your joint still come up. Rodney Hayes, yeah. It still come up without the capital letters. Yeah. All right. Let's get to another question. What are some spiritual practices to do with a newborn?
You definitely want negative people out of your life, and I don't care who they are. If they're even if it's one of your parents, one of your siblings, one of your cousins, you don't want to be in close proximity with too many, like too much negative frequency.
Yeah.
Well, home births. Black women got to start doing a lot more home births. That from the inception, that disconnect themselves from contract law and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things you can do with a newborn to help them develop is ritual massages on a daily basis, water massages when you give them a bath.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the feel of the mother's hand or the father's hand while you bathing them, rubbing their body, you galvanize energy. And you make the child feel protected and safe, even in the condition of the water. Right? So you make them less likely to be fearful, more likely to feel secure in who they are as they develop.
Right. Wow.
You do stretching exercises with the newborns. Because this allows their muscles to start activating cartilage and gristle to keep them strong. Those are all physical and spiritual practices. Because when you start exercising the body, you exercise in their spirit.
Exactly. Right.
I heard there was a certain amount of time where if you keep the placenta, if the baby keeps the placenta attached to it for a certain period of time, I heard that was beneficial as well.
That's part of pair bonding, where the mother suckle the baby in breast milk. The chemical oxytocin is then triggered. And when the right chemical balance between the mother and baby to tell both of them energetically they secure, the placenta will then get a blast of oxytocin to release it.
Okay.
With several other hormones. But they flip the cord, and this is the number one cause of postpartum depression. When they flip the cord, the energy from the placenta tell the mama abort. The baby's aborted.
Damn.
But when you leave it attached until the placenta released, then the energy tells the mother's subconscious it's a healthy, happy baby. And the chemical response that goes back into the placenta once the baby's milk begin to digest tells the mother that the baby is strong. These are all of the information she needs in order to be comfortable nursing and caring for her child and triggering her mother mode, the highest frequency of woman.
Okay.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, we're gonna do let's see, I think we're gonna do one more question before we get out of here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. First of all, shout out to everybody who's well, somebody asked where's Sister Myra. Sister Myra's chilling. She was just at the gathering. Mistress, she was at the gathering of masses. Were you there or did you see it? She did a magnificent job at the gathering, but she's chilling. Sister Myra's chilling. She's doing great. Let's see. Okay, last question before we get out of here. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we ain't talking about Donald Trump tonight. I don't want to hear about I don't want to hear about Donald Trump. I hear about him enough. I don't want to hear about him tonight. Not on this show. Not on the show called New Species. I don't want to hear about him on this show. But listen, somebody's asking who's behind the ice wall? When are they coming to help? If they are even there. If they even are. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So the ice wall is not what people think. It's just the frozen polar cap. Right. But under that, if you go to TikTok and type in Antarctic pride, it'll pull up the people that lived under the ice that the scientists thawed out, and they gonna tell you they took them from Africa. They ain't taken from Africa. They was down there frozen in the ice. And psychically, they told them how to throw them out, which gave them the science of defrosting people from cryostasis.
I was going to add the etymology of the word Atlantis goes back to the Greek god Atlas. And when you study who the Greek god Atlas was, he was the Titan that was bound in chains and forced to hold up the earth from the bottom of the earth. And so, you know, that's his name was literally Atlantis, which was translated to Atlas. So if Atlantis is associated with the location